Level 1. Academy graduate. You put on the new uniform with undisguised pride, sincerely believing in absolute justice. Your base salary is so insignificant that you can barely afford to pay for a tiny apartment. On a long night shift, the owner of a cheap diner silently hands you a hot cup of coffee. You take the cardboard cup, feeling an unpleasant sting of conscience, but quickly suppress it. A month later, you calmly accept $50 to turn a blind eye to a brutal street fight. You are no longer ashamed. You convince yourself that this is a fair price for your daily risk. Looking into the dark mirror, you see a tired guy whose ideals crashed violently against reality. The police system does not protect you, and you make the cold decision to play by your own rules. A very strange excitement appears inside when you first realize how easy it is to cross the line. You carefully hide the first dirty bills in your wallet, fearfully looking around in the dark. This insignificant deal with your conscience triggers the irreversible rotting of your young soul. You have no idea yet that this free coffee will cost you a terrifyingly high price in the end. Level 2. Patrol officer. Your own mother urgently needs complex surgery, and the bank cynically and dryly denies the loan. During a night search of a petty street dealer, you feel a thick stack of cash in his jacket. You don't turn the money in. You coldly take it for yourself, threatening the dealer with a gun. Your hands tremble treacherously when you pay the massive hospital bills with this dirty money. You miraculously saved a loved one, but now every passing patrol causes a terrible panic attack. Your senior partner begins to ask highly uncomfortable questions about your suddenly increased funds. To silence him forever, you cleverly drag him into a very dark and dangerous criminal scheme. Now you are tightly bound by the same blood and a shared secret that slowly poisons your friendship. You are horrified to catch yourself thinking that power over someone else's fear brings twisted joy. Street thugs begin to recognize your face, greeting you with extremely cautious and deep respect. You buy expensive designer clothes, but wear them only where your colleagues will definitely not see. That naive cop is long dead. In his place is a predator who caught the sweet scent of easy prey. Level 3. Detective Trainee. You are endlessly tired of rotting on the streets and crave a transfer to Homicide, but need results. You are working on a completely dead-end murder case that your bosses demand closed immediately. You break into the suspect's apartment and coldly plant a heavily blood-stained murder weapon there. In the courtroom, you look straight into the eyes of an innocent man, feeling absolutely no regret. To you, he is now just a convenient stepping stone in your career, a faceless number in a dry report. For this incredibly brilliant clearance rate, you finally receive the coveted Senior Detective badge. You loudly celebrate the promotion at a bar, but the alcohol tastes bitter and a black void yawns inside. In the dead of night, you wake up in a cold sweat, constantly imagining the screams of that innocent guy. You start swallowing powerful sleeping pills just to shut down your severely inflamed brain for a few hours. Your moral compass is completely shattered. You convinced yourself that the end always justifies the means. Local crime bosses notice your absolute lack of principles and offer you a highly profitable, dirty deal. You boldly cross the threshold of the shadow world, forever closing the door to a normal, peaceful life. Level 4. Homicide Detective. You are assigned to investigate a massive turf war involving very large and extremely dirty money. Instead of mass arrests, you find a weak link in the cartel and offer a mutually beneficial alliance. You leak secret information to them about competitor raids, receiving thick envelopes stuffed with dollars. Your hidden bank account grows rapidly, But along with it grows a primal, overwhelming animal fear. You maniacally check your personal car for hidden bugs, entirely trusting absolutely no one but yourself. When one of your informants decides to hand you over to the feds, you act with lightning speed and ruthlessness. You coldly organize a fatal meeting for him, leaving his lifeless body abandoned in a cheap roadside motel. This is your very first hands-on murder, and it shatters your incredibly fragile psyche into tiny pieces. You vomit into a dirty sink, washing invisible blood off your shaking hands, and cry in utter despair. Now you are no longer just a corrupt cop. You are a cold-blooded killer holding a shiny police badge. The cartel values your loyalty and hands you a black folder on the paranoid head of internal affairs. You coldly blackmail this powerful boss, forcing him to officially recruit you into his secretive department. Level 5, Internal Affairs Officer. You gain completely unrestricted access to the personal files of every police officer in this huge city. Your main task is to catch dirty cops, but instead, you turn them into your fiercely loyal attack dogs. You find their critical weak spots, such as massive debts or mistresses, and give them a cruel choice. They quickly become your private army, carrying out the absolute dirtiest work throughout the metropolis. You feel like a grand puppeteer, but the strings from these broken marionettes painfully cut your fingers. You trust absolutely no one. Your casual conversations with subordinates look more like brutal interrogations. Your wife cannot withstand your endless paranoia and uncontrollable aggression, filing for a quick divorce. You are left entirely alone in a luxurious apartment where the silence painfully presses on your eardrums. To avoid going completely mad from loneliness, you dive headfirst into building your dark shadow empire. You notice an unbelievable gold mine in the physical evidence storage room and decide to take it for yourself. You fabricate a criminal case against the current evidence curator, ruthlessly breaking his long career. His position instantly becomes vacant, and you use all your immense influence to secure this key role. Level 6, Evidence Room Curator. You now have absolute control over tons of confiscated drugs and massive mountains of illegal weapons. You clearly organize an elegant scheme to replace elite cocaine with cheap, useless laundry detergent powder. The original product is safely returned to the cartel for huge profit margins right from the police building. You earn millions of dirty dollars, but every sudden audit makes your heart freeze in absolute sheer terror. You begin to suffer seriously from severe insomnia. Your eyes are bloodshot and your skin has turned gray. You swallow antidepressants by the handful, desperately trying to drown out the feeling of impending doom. Your hands constantly and treacherously sweat. You flinch violently at the sound of every combination lock. When one of your reliable men makes a critical mistake in the paperwork, you swiftly hire a hitman for him. You carefully read his obituary in the morning newspaper while drinking strong coffee and feel nothing at all. Human life has finally lost any value to you whatsoever, becoming nothing more than an annoying margin of error. The cartel desperately needs high-level cover, so they heavily sponsor your campaign to become a police captain. You cynically buy the commission's votes, ruthlessly eliminating any honest competitors from your bloody path. Level 7, Homicide Captain. You get a luxurious office with a panoramic window, but feel exactly like a trapped bird in a steel cage. Dozens of top investigators are under your direct and brutal command, and you use them completely blindly. You purposefully unleash them only on those rival gangs that refuse to pay you a percentage of their profits. Your shadow power seems totally limitless, but you have turned into a nervous paranoid with a severe ulcer. There is always a fully loaded revolver in your desk drawer, and you can only sleep with the lights turned on. You personally pit cartels against each other, leaking fake coordinates to make them destroy themselves entirely. Blood flows like a wide river through the streets of your city, and you are directly to blame for every drop. Independent journalists start digging deeply into your affairs, asking far too many highly compromising questions. You use your old mafia connections to arrange a fatal car accident for the most meticulous and annoying reporter. You crossed that invisible line, murdering an innocent civilian purely to save your own miserable, corrupt skin. To consolidate success and become absolutely untouchable, you aim for the highly coveted deputy chief's chair. You leak information to the feds about the current deputy's secret accounts, sending him behind bars for good.
Level 8. Deputy Chief of Police. Your ruthless strategy worked flawlessly.
You are now the second in command of the entire law enforcement structure. You personally control the appointment of judges and prosecutors, entangling the city in a sticky web of corruption. But at this massive altitude, the air is too thin. They absolutely do not forgive even the smallest of mistakes here. You no longer communicate with people in person, handing out bloody orders through heavily encrypted radios. Your highly paid personal doctor diagnoses you with a pre-infarction condition due to colossal, constant stress. You hire round-the-clock heavily armed security, suspecting even your closest household servants of deadly treason. The FBI creates a secret task force to investigate the police leadership's deep ties with the Mexican cartel. You quickly learn about this and realize you can only save yourself by cutting all ties and giving up your partners. You extremely coldly organize a massive raid on the very same cartel that made you incredibly rich and powerful. This truly brilliant betrayal allows you to emerge absolutely clean and innocent in the eyes of the federal inspectors. The old police chief retires with honors, and the city mayor personally offers you his highly prestigious chair. You completely beat the system, destroyed all your enemies, but finally lost your soul entirely in the suffocating dark. Level 9. Chief of Police. You have reached the absolute peak. The golden stars of the city's top cop heavily shine on your tired shoulders. Thousands of heavily armed men are under your command, but inside, you are completely broken and endlessly alone. The surviving remnants of the Mexican cartel declare a hunt for you, putting a multi-million bounty on your head. You physically cannot leave the highly secured headquarters building without a heavily armored security motorcade. Your pathetic life has narrowed to the short route between your office and the underground bunker of your mansion. Your most fiercely loyal student and protege suddenly starts asking questions about the missing physical evidence. Wild paranoia whispers to you that he works for the feds and is secretly gathering hard evidence for your arrest. With icy inner calm, you officially signed the direct order for his immediate transfer to the most dangerous district. You personally call the local gang and give them the exact route of his patrol, dooming the young man to his death. At his crowded funeral, you deliver a highly touching speech, clenching your jaw until it grinds horrifyingly. You look in the mirror and see a disgusting monster who completely devoured that young, hopeful academy graduate. Realizing that the net is relentlessly tightening, you decide to retire before the FBI agents finally come for you. Level 10. Honorary Retiree. You are escorted into a long-awaited retirement with an orchestra, given a weapon, and hypocritically thanked for your service. Now you live permanently in a luxurious mansion behind a tremendously high fence that closely resembles a prison. Your dirty millions lie safely in hidden offshore accounts, but you are utterly terrified to spend even a single extra dollar. You absolutely do not communicate with former colleagues, knowing any of them could be wearing a hidden microphone. Every black van driving past your heavily fortified house triggers a severe, agonizing attack of severe tachycardia. You dream of the bloodied faces of everyone you ruthlessly killed, framed, and brutally destroyed for this dirty money. Your massive house is packed with hidden cameras and motion sensors, but they do not save you from the demons in your head. You flinch violently at every rustle, maniacally clutching your cold service weapon in your constantly sweaty palms. Your incredibly brilliant and highly successful career turned out to be nothing but a direct road to a psychological hell. You forever traded your honor and conscience for the mere illusion of safety, left with absolutely nothing in the finale. You sit alone in complete darkness, waiting for either the FBI agents or the vengeful cartels to finally come for you. And at this exact time, in the police academy, a new naive cadet tries on his uniform with great, glowing pride.